everyone, this is Sarah Purdy, book coordinator at The Right Place. Recently, I sat down to talk with Jean De Vries, our 2016 book contest winner, to talk about her novel, Bestow on Us Your Grace, which tells the story of Kirsten Walker and Silas Miller, two young people caught in a rather impossible situation. But enough from me, let's hear from Jean.
Bestow on Us Your Grace was a neat story to write. It's basically a story about a young lady who finds herself with an unwanted pregnancy. She's had a hard life, and then she ends up with this surprise unwanted pregnancy, and it's a tough situation. And she meets her neighbor, her Amish neighbor, and finds a real friendship with him, and they end up really helping each other. I think he didn't realize he needed the help, but they come together. They get married, actually, which is kind of a very unique situation. But they really end up, just coming together, teaching each other a lot about God's plan for life, and sort of just understanding how He works, and it's not always the way we expect. So I think when I get asked what my inspiration was, people sometimes expect to have this, oh, she knows these Amish people, and I don't. We were on a family trip, and we were driving through southern Iowa, northern Missouri, and there's a lot of Amish in that area, and we happened to drive by a farm, and there was a young, 12, 13, 14-year-old boy, blonde hair, Amish young man, and he was standing in his yard just looking up at the sky. And for some reason that image just stuck with me, and I thought about him all through that vacation, like, I wonder what his life is like, and what was he going to go do, and what his name might be. And out of that, my main character of Silas came. He's looks like that boy, and is just kind of my imagination of what that kid's life may have been like later on. I'm not really clear on why this story came to me. I think it's just kind of something that God said, let's take something impossible and show you how I can work with something impossible. There are so many great scenes for me, and it's hard to pick a favorite. It's like picking a favorite child. You just can't do it. There are so many great ones that just really stick with me. Some of my favorites are the softball scene where she goes to watch him play softball. My husband played softball when we were first married, and so I kind of drew on some personal experience there of what it's like to see him hit a home run, and it's just this, oh, he did it, and it's so exciting and so fun. So that was a fun scene to write, and I also loved the part of the book where it's towards the end, and it's kind of, I'm not going to give away anything, but she starts to really have her eyes opened, and it's when her niece is born, and she's just suddenly struck by all this truth and coming her way, and she's really able to see, what God has been doing. So that was a special scene to me. And of course, my very favorite would be the very end of the book. There's a scene on a porch swing, and it just hit the whole thing home. I felt like, that was the best part of the book for me. Interesting note for this particular book is it was written all on pen and paper the first time. So when I first started writing books, that's how I started, was sitting in a chair in my living room. All my kids played on the floor and just writing it out by hand. It's a lot slower that way because you can't quite keep up with your thoughts. I can't write as fast as I can think. But it was a good editing process then to go back through and type it out and flesh out certain parts or edit certain parts. I've since taken to writing on computer on my laptop, so that goes a little quicker and it's easier in a way, but that's kind of special to me that I wrote this first one by hand. This book is part of what could be a trilogy. I have written the second book, and I have outlined the third book. I have not started writing it yet. I know where it's going to go, but I'm not quite sure how to get there, so I'm kind of waiting for that to feel right. They're still following members of Silas's family, so it will still be Amish love story. But it's just taking things in a different direction, focusing not so much on somebody becoming Amish, but on, the Amish life and the choices and things that they need to make as they grow up and as they sort of find their own place within the community as adults.
Be sure to look for Bestow on Us Your Grace from Jean De Vries in the Right Place this holiday season.